If your income stopped tomorrow, how long would your family be okay? Not emotionally, obviously, financially. Could you last 6 months, 30 days, 2 weeks, or would everything start falling apart almost immediately? Now, let me ask you an even heavier question. If something happened to you tomorrow, would your family inherit a legacy or a liability? I know nobody clicks on a video hoping to think about death, taxes, disabilities, retirement, insurance, or whether their family will be okay without them. But here is the truth, bro. The questions you are avoiding today often become the problems your family has to face tomorrow. And most people are not financially stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because nobody ever gave them a clear plan. They were told, work hard, pay your bills, save a little, maybe invest one day, try not to go broke, and hope everything works out. But hope is not a financial plan, and faith is not avoidance. Jesus said in Matthew, you cannot serve both God and money, but notice what he did not say. He did not say you can't have money. He did not say you can't build. He didn't say you can't prepare. He didn't say you can't increase. He said you can't serve it as your master. So the deeper question is not, do you have money? The deeper question is, does money have you? Because money is a terrible master. But when money is submitted to God, when it is given direction, when it is connected to wisdom, when it is aligned with stewardship, money becomes a powerful tool, and a tool needs a plan. Most people do not need a random financial product first. They need a financial red print. Yeah, I said red print. They need a clear picture of where they are and where they are going and where they want to go. What is exposed and what needs to be built next. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple biblical framework to help you recognize where you are, reorganize what is out of order, rediscover what money is actually here for, rebuild your financial foundation, and finally refine the plan as life changes. And at the end, I am going to give you the 7 questions you can answer today to start building your own financial red print. Because it's not about worshiping wealth. It's not about chasing money. It's not about looking successful online while privately drowning in pressure. This is about stewardship. Because for the Christian, God is master, money is a tool, and stewardship is the assignment. So let's build this the right way, God's way. So the first step in the financial red print is recognize. That means you have to face what is actually happening with your money. Not the version that you hope is happening, not the vague version, not the I think we're okay version, the real version. Because a lot of people are financially stressed, but they do not actually know their numbers. They know money is coming in, they know money is going out, they know that they feel a pressure. They know that they're working hard, but they do not know exactly where the money is actually going. So here's the first test. If I ask you right now, how much money comes into your household every month? How much leaves every month? How much debt do you actually have? How much are you saving? How much are you investing? How long could your family survive if your income disappeared? Are you tracking all these things? Would you know the answers, or would you just be guessing? Because guessing is where financial chaos hides. And this is where many people get stuck. Not because they are incapable, but because they were taught how to earn. They were taught how to spend, but they were never taught how to steward well. And there is a difference. You see, earning money is not the same as managing money. Making money is not the same as having a plan. Having a good income does not automatically mean you are building a good future. There are people that are making 6 figures who are still one emergency away from panic. There are people who look successful on paper, but quietly are buried under pressure. There are men carrying the weight of provision, but nobody ever taught them how to create protection, build margin, prepare for the future, and lead their family financially. So before you invest, before you buy another product, before you chase the next financial trend, you need to recognize your reality. Where are the cracks? Where are the gaps? Where is the pressure? Where have you been avoiding the numbers because you were afraid of what they might reveal? Because avoidance feels comfortable today, but avoidance always sends the bill to your future. And I don't say this to shame you, friend. I say this as I felt it myself. I say this as a wake up call because once you can see your financial life clearly, you can start stewarding it wisely. And then part two, recognize by renewing the money mind. This is where you renew the way you think about money. Because before you can build a better financial life, you have to challenge the beliefs that are shaping your financial decisions today. A lot of people don't just have a money problem, they have a money mindset problem. They say things like, I'm just bad with money. I'll start later. Money is evil. I don't I don't need to make a plan. Once I have more, then I'll get serious. Insurance is a scam. Budgetings are restrictive. God is going to provide ultimately. But biblical faith is not financial avoidance. Faith does not mean you refuse to plan. Faith does not mean you ignore wisdom. Faith does not mean you leave your family exposed and call it trust. That is not faith. That is presumptions wearing church clothes. A biblical man does not prepare because he is afraid. He prepares because he loves. He thinks ahead because he loves. He plans because leadership carries responsibility. He protects because people are counting on him. And that is why your money mindset matters, maybe most in all of this, because money itself is not evil. The love of money is the real danger. Money in the wrong seat becomes a master. Money in the right seat becomes a servant and works for you. So here is the question. Who is making the decisions in your life? Is money deciding when you rest? Is money deciding whether you are generous? Is money deciding how much pressure you carry? Or is money deciding what dreams you are allowed to pursue? Is money robbing you of your peace and causing you to have an anxious home? Because if money is making all the decisions in your life, money may have become the idol, the master. It may have more authority than you think. That is why you have to reorganize. Money is not your identity. Money is not your security. Money is not your savior. Money is not your source. God is. Money is just a tool. Stewardship is the assignment, and wisdom is the path of how we get there. So then we have part three, rediscover. This is where you return money to its rightful, proper place. Because if you do not know what money is for, you will either worship it, waste it, fear it, or avoid it completely. Money needs a mission. Every dollar needs a direction, and that mission should be connected to what God has placed in your hand, your faith, your family, your future, your calling, your generosity, your legacy. That is why the better question here is not, how can I get rich? The better question is, what has God entrusted to me, and what is the faithful way for me to manage it, steward it well? That question changes everything, because now we are not just talking about accumulation, we are talking about assignment. We are not just talking about income, we are talking about impact. We are not just talking about retirement, we are talking about responsibility. We are not here to just leave money behind. We are here to leave order, wisdom, protection, and legacy, because your financial life is not separate from the rest of your life. When you have debt, it affects your peace. When your cash flow affects your options, your savings affects your stability, your protection affects your family, your investments affect your future, generosity affects your heart. It is all connected. So when your finances are chaotic, it does not stay in the spreadsheet. It leaks into your marriage, your parenting, your sleep, your calling, your confidence, your ability to say yes when God opens doors. That is why stewardship matters so much. Not because money is everything, but because where your money is, your heart is. If you show me your bank account, I will see what you care about most. That is why money matters. Not because it is everything, but because it touches everything. The fourth step of this is rebuild. This is where we stop talking about money and start creating structures, systems, and budgets and plans. See, the Redprint gives us the path. And within the company I've been partnered with, we think of it as grow, protect, invest. This gives you the structure: grow, protect, invest. It's really that simple, friend, but do not let the simplicity fool you, because simple is powerful when it's actually applied. So the first is grow. Grow your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your income. Grow your capacity, your ability to manage what God's placed in your hands, because you cannot steward what you first don't understand. You must learn some of these basic financial concepts and principles, like how cash flow works, debt, interest rates, taxes, how different accounts function, how your habits are either building a future or making it bleed. But growth is not just financial knowledge. It also is about growing your income, because sometimes the issue is not that you spend too much. Sometimes the issue is that you need to increase the capacity of the income coming in. You can only coupon and save your way so far and budget so far. At some point, you have to ask, how can I become more valuable? How do I increase my skills? How do I solve bigger problems? How do I create more income without sacrificing my soul or abandoning my family in the process? This all matters, because trying to build a future with no margins, no plan, no skill development, no mental mindset development, no income growth, it can feel like trying to fill up a bathtub with a teaspoon. So grow. Grow your wisdom, your discipline, your income, your capacity. But growth is only the first part of this foundation, because if you grow without protection, you are one storm and bad, unexpected event from wiping out years of progress. So the second part in this is protect. This is where a lot of people want to skip over. They want to invest before they protect. They want to grow before having a real foundation. They want to have a harvest without building a fence around it. If your foundation is exposed, again, one unexpected event can become a crisis. Protection means you have a safeguard in place. You have guardrails. Your protection is for your income, your household, your family. Nobody wants to think about this, but we must. What happens if you get sick? What happens if you get injured and can't work? What happens if your income stops right now? What happens if, God forbid, you die unexpectedly tomorrow? I get it. Nobody wants to talk about death, but love thinks ahead. Protection is not fear-based. Listen to me, friend. Protection is love with a plan. A man who loves his family does not avoid the hard questions. He prepares for when the storm comes. And then third, we have invest. Investing means building a strategy to grow wealth over time. But investing without clarity is just gambling with better vocabulary, honestly. Your investments should be connected to your goals, your timeline, your risk tolerance, your family situation, and your overall plan for your life. This may include retirement accounts or investment accounts, maybe a real estate portfolio or owning a business or two, index strategies, other tools depending on your tailor-made unique position. But the point is not to chase whatever is trending. The point is to give your money an assignment. You see emergency money, it has a job. You see long-term money, it has a job. You see money that's in protection, it has a job. Legacy money, it has a job. You're seeing the trend here. So instead of asking, where can I get the highest return, a better question that you could ask today is, what does this money need to do? Remember, money needs a mission, because there is no perfect place for all your money. Some money needs safety. Some money needs growth. Some money needs access. Some needs protection and to be better tax efficient. Some needs to be available now, and some needs to work for decades before you even touch it. This is stewardship. It's not hype. It's not fear. It's not copying someone else's plan. It's developing the plan that fits you, having the wisdom to act on it. Now, at this point, I want to show you why it's important when you start. One of the greatest financial tools God has given you is time. And one of the most expensive sentences in your financial life, and honestly in other areas of your life, is all start late. Later has a cost. Delay has a price tag. And let me give you a simple example. Honestly, it's a great little story here. I hope it really helped paint the picture for you. I want you to think of these two people, Sally and Sam. Sally was 25 when she was young and working and figuring it out, probably not making a huge income yet. She made the decision at 25, I'm going to start now in investing. So she invested $5,000 a year for 10 years. So from 25 to 35, she was investing that $5,000, which means she personally contributed over that time $50,000 total. Then she stopped at 35 and just let it sit there and didn't contribute another dollar. She just let it grow until she was ready to retire. Now imagine that money is growing at an average annual rate of 8%. So by her retirement age, Sally's account could grow to almost $800,000. That's a decent chunk of change to get started with your retirement, huh? But then we have on the other side, Sam. Sam waited. Sam didn't start at 25, he started at 35. So he was already 10 years behind Sally. But Sam invested $5,000 a year from 35 all the way to when he was 65. So he invested for 30 years. So Sam personally contributed over that time $150,000. That means Sam put in about 3 times more than Sally. But if we assume the same amount of 8% annual return, Sam ends up with little over $600,000. Now wait, that feels backwards, right? Sally only saved $50,000 and Sam saved $150,000. And Sam put it in more money than she did, but Sally ended up with more. Why? Because Sally gave her money or time to grow. That is the power of compound interest. Time matters. Starting matters. Consistency matters. And this is why delay can be so expensive. Now, I want you to understand that these are hypothetical examples and these are no guarantees. So actual results will vary. And don't come at me. The point of this is not to promise the exact results. The point is to show you the power of time, consistency, and compounding. There is also this simple principle. It's called the rule of 72. It helps estimate how long it takes money to double. You can take 72 and divide it by the rate of return. So if money grows at 8%, you take 72 divided by 8. That means that the money can double in about every 9 years it's in there. But if the money was growing at 3% and you did the same math, 72 divided by 3, that means that it could take 24 years until it doubled. You see that massive difference here? Over time, small differences can become enormous. Now, maybe you're watching this and thinking, well, that's great, but I'm not 25 anymore. Maybe you feel behind. Maybe you feel like you've missed your window. Maybe you're thinking, I wish someone would have taught me this 10 or 20 years ago. Listen, do not let regret become another form of delay. Do not let regret become another form of delay. The point is not to shame you. The point is to wake you up. If time is no longer your biggest advantage, then clarity, strategy, and intentionality become even more important. It does not mean it is over. It means you just need to look at where you are, what you have, and what options are available for you today. So let me make this practical. Before you do anything else, sit down and answer these 7 questions. Number 1, how much money comes into my household every month? Number 2, how much money leaves my household every month? Number 3, how much debt do I actually have? Number 4, how much emergency savings do I have? 5, how long can my family survive if income stopped right now? 6, what protection do I currently have in place, like a life insurance or any kind of health protection, living benefits? Number 7, what am I building for retirement, legacy, and future financial freedom? Those 7 questions will reveal a lot, honestly. They may even reveal your progress or your pressure or where the gaps may be. But one thing I will say with going through those, if you ask those questions and you still feel lost or need help, then I really want to encourage you. The best next step that you can take is you're going to see a link below to schedule a one-on-one, 100% complimentary financial assessment with me. And we can dive into those questions and where you're at. And we can begin to create an action plan to see where we can go to help you get from financial chaos to financial freedom. So let me bring this home. Money, again, is not the enemy. And it's also not the master. And it can become dangerous when you choose and let it be. And for too many people, money is already leading. It's deciding when they rest, when they have what kind of conversations, where they can go, where they can dream. But Jesus did not call you to be mastered by money. He called you to be faithful stewards, to lead, to prepare, to build, to protect, to multiply what's in your hands. So don't just watch this and move on and go about your day. Do not let this become another video you consume but never apply. Knowledge means nothing is not applied. Go from knowledge to wisdom today. Ask these questions. Start having these conversations with your spouse. And if you need the help, receive some of that complimentary help with this financial assessment, because the sooner you face this, the sooner you can build with wisdom. Master money before it masters you. Book that complimentary financial assessment with me today, and let's start building your financially free life now. And I'll see you either there or in this next video. Peace.